الحمد لله على إحسانه والشكر له على تفضله وامتنانه ولا إله إلا الله تعظيما لشأنه وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله داعي إلى رضوانه وعلى آله وأصحابه وإخوانه أما بعد. إخواني في الله, we are continuing with our lecture series regarding the signs of the Day of Judgment. The sign that we are taking tonight, like the previous night, is on the false prophets. People who claimed they were false, people who claimed they were prophets. There's one day Sheikh Ibn Baz, the former Mufti of Saudi Arabia, he was giving a tafsir lecture on a Friday. He was giving the lecture on tafsir. Then a man comes and he says, Ana Nabi, I am a prophet. Wa ana min Makkah, and I am from Makkah. Wa qad kafara bi as-Sudais wa Shuraim. And Sudais and Shuraim have disbelieved in me. He says, Ya Ibn Baz, hal anta tu'minu bi am takfur? O Ibn Baz, do you believe I'm a prophet or you disbelieve? Ibn Baz is shocked. Rahimahullah. He's shocked by the claim this man is making. He says, Anta Rasul, you are the prophet? He says, Naam. Says, but the Prophet ﷺ says, Na Nabiya ba'da Muhammad ﷺ. There's no prophet after Muhammad ﷺ. This man says to him, Wama yudrik? And how do you know that? Ibn Baz says to him, Ma ra'ayuka u'tika alfa riyal wa tatruka an-nubuwah. Says to him, what is your opinion? I give you 1,000 riyal cash and you leave this issue of being a prophet. Says to me, him, 1,000 riyal, عليها سورة الشيب عبد العزيز, on it is the face of Abdul Aziz, the king of Saudi Arabia. قال نعم. Says, Ya Saleh. He calls his secretary Saleh. Labbaik. Says, give this man 1,000 riyal. He's given 1, 2, 3, 1,000 riyal. Says, Ya Ibn Baz, taraktu nubuwah. I have quit being a prophet from today. Ibn Baz rahimahullah says to him, nubuwah tuba' bi alf riyal, mu nubuwah. Says, prophethood that is sold for 1,000 riyal, this is not prophethood. Another sheikh says, they went to a hospital for people who are mentally sick. Some of these people who claim to be prophets are mentally sick. So we should not rush as Muslims to declare them kafir. Because the Prophet ﷺ says that the majnoon, the pen is not written for the person who is crazy until he gets his brain back. So the sheikh says, I went to a mental hospital. Then I find two patients debating amongst themselves. One of them is shouting, Ana Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. He's saying, I am the Prophet of Allah. Another says to him, Kadhab, Wallahi Kadhab, Wallahi is a liar, Wallahi is a liar. Then this man repeats, Ana Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. He says, I am the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And this other man is shouting, Kadhab, Kadhab. So the sheikh was a little bit impressed by this second man. He says, perhaps his mind is okay. He says, why did you call him kadhab? Why did you call him a liar? He says, Wallahi ma arsaltuhu. Wallahi, I'm not the one who sent him. So this is a crazy man who's claiming to be a prophet, and this other one is claiming to be Allah. Ma'ad Allah amma qalu. But it's a crazy nutcases. You cannot take their words. So from the signs of the Day of Judgment, as mentioned by Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, he says, لا تقوم الساعة حتى يبعث دجالون كذابون قريب من 30 كلهم يزعم أنه رسول الله. The Prophet ﷺ says, the hour will not be established until liars will come forth, 30 of them, each one of them claiming to be a prophet of Allah. Hadith of Thawban, he says, the Prophet ﷺ, لا تقوم الساعة حتى تلحق قبائل من أمتي بالمشركين. He says, the hour will not be established until a group or a tribe from my ummah will join the kuffar, the mushrikeen. وَحَتَّى يُعْبَدَ الْأَوْثَانِ. And the false idols, the statues will be worshipped once again. وَسَتَكُونُ مِنْ أُمَّتِي ثَلَاثُونَ كَذَّابُونَ كُلُّهُمْ يَزْعُمُ أَنَّهُ نَبِيٌّ وَإِنِّي خَاتَمُ النَّبِيِّينَ لَا نَبِيَّ بَعْدِي. In my ummah there will be 30 liars. Each one of them will be claiming that he is a prophet. And I am the finality of prophethood. La nabiyya ba'di, there's no prophet after me. In a different hadith, the Prophet ﷺ says that in this ummah, there will be 30 people who will be claiming to be prophets. آخرهم الدجال الأعور. The last of them will be Al-Kadhab Al-A'war, the Masih Al-Dajjal. So we mentioned clearly yesterday that there are very many people who claim to be prophets. But 30 in particular will have followers, will have strength, will have people following them and accepting them. We mentioned Musaylim al-Kadhab. who was killed by, who killed Muslim al-Kadhab? Wahshi. Then number 2, we mentioned Aswad al-Anasi, who tried to burn Abu Muslim al-Khawlani in the fire and he was not successful. He was killed by which Sahabi? Fayruz al-Daylami. Then we mentioned the woman Sajah al-Tamimiyya. She came back to Islam. And we mentioned Tulayha ibn Khuwaylid al-Asadi radiyallahu anhu, who was a Muslim, ثم ارتد ثم أسلم ثم استشهد. In the battle of Nahawand, he died as a shaheed. Today we're taking another man, he's called Mukhtar ibn Abi Ubaid al-Thaqafi. This man, his father, Abu Ubaid, became a Muslim at the time of Prophet ﷺ. But he did not see Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. He did not meet the Prophet ﷺ. Hence he was not what? He was not a Sahabi. He was not a Sahabi. They're called Mukhadram, the people who became Muslims at the time of Prophet ﷺ, and they did not see him. They are tabi'in, but the highest level of tabi'in. Right? So this man became a Muslim at the time of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. The Prophet died, Abu Bakr passed away, Umar made him one of the generals of the army to conquer Persia. And he died as a shaheed in the battle of the bridge known as Jisr Abu Ubaid. It's known up to this day, the bridge of Abu Ubaid. So this was the father. His daughter is called Safiya, was married to Abdullah ibn Umar ibn Khattab radhiallahu anhuma. She was a righteous woman, a pious lady. Then this man, the liar that we're talking about today, is the son of this man, Abu Ubaid al-Thaqafi, the brother to Safiya. Is called Mukhtar ibn Abi Ubaid al-Thaqafi. The Prophet ﷺ, he says in an authentic hadith that from the tribe of Thaqif would be 2 people, a liar and a murderer. The liar is this man we're talking about today, Mukhtar ibn Abi Ubaid al-Thaqafi. And the murderer, the person who kills people, is Al-Hajjaj ibn Yusuf al-Thaqafi. So this man, Mukhtar ibn Abu Ubaid al-Thaqafi, he appeared in the lands of Kufa. Initially, he used to show that he was anti-Ali. He was against Ali. He was talking about bad things about Ali, and he was expelled from the city of Kufa. Then he went and joined the Caliph of the Muslims, Abdullah ibn Zubayr ibn Awam, and he pledged allegiance to him. And he was one of his closest confidants, or not closest, he was like a general, a person who was very successful in the battles for Abdullah ibn Zubayr ibn Awam, the Caliph of the Muslims at the time. So this man had a love for a riyasa, leadership, to be known. So he goes back to Kufa and he starts a fitna. He starts calling the people, says Hussein ibn Ali has been killed in Karbala, which is a great fitna. The grandson of Prophet ﷺ was killed in Karbala by the Shi'as, by the Iraqis. The people of Iraq are the one who killed him. So he says, we must revenge for Hussein ibn Ali. And he gathers a large number of followers. And he manages to expel the governor of Abdullah ibn Zubayr ibn Muti'. He expels him. And he takes over the land of Kufa. So he gathers a great army. He calls one of his companions, Al-Ashtar al-Naqa'i, Ibrahim al-Ashtar. And they gather a great army and they fight the people who killed Hussein ibn Ali. Amongst them, Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad, the one who actually killed Hussein ibn Ali, and he manages to kill him. So he becomes very powerful, this man, Mukhtar ibn Abu Ubaid al-Thaqafi. Then this man, he continues with his fitna, and he starts claiming that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is revealing to him revelation. That Allah is revealing to him. He says, don't sit on that pillow. Jibril was just sitting there. He's telling the Muslims that. Some of the Muslims wanted to kill him, but they were afraid that it will cause more problems. So the Muslims, they ask Ibn Umar, radhiallahu anhuma, who was his brother-in-law, what do you say about this man who's getting revelation? He says, indeed he's getting revelation, but he's getting revelation from the shaitan. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَإِنَّ الشَّيَاطِينَ لَا يُوحُونَ إِلَىٰ أَوْلِيَائِهِمْ. That the shayateen, they give revelation to their followers. So this man started a great fitna. He killed many of the Muslims in the land of Kufa until the Caliph of the Muslims, Zubayr ibn Awam, Abdullah ibn Zubayr ibn Awam, sent his brother Mus'ab ibn Umair, Mus'ab ibn Zubayr ibn Awam, and finished off this fitna. So this is one of the greatest fitna, Mukhtar ibn Abu Ubaid al-Thaqafi. He was killed in the year 67 of the Hijri calendar. After that, there's another man called Al-Harith al-Kadhab. He came from the land of Damascus, also claimed to be a prophet. The Caliph of the Muslims at the time was Abdul Malik ibn Marwan. He looked for this man. This man hid himself from many places until he was captured. He was brought before the Khalifa and he claims, I am a prophet. He claims he was a prophet. The Khalifa brings the scholars to advise him, to give him wa'd, but he refuses everything. And he dies as a murtad, he dies as a kafir, and is executed with his claim of being a prophet. Continued in history, you have the Khalifa al-Mahdi, one of the third Khalifa of the Banu al-Abbas. A man comes to him and says to him, Ana Musa ibn Imran, I am the Prophet Musa ibn Imran, Kalimullah, the one who spoke to Allah. So al-Mahdi knows that this is a nut case, this is a mental case. He tells him, وَهَلْ هَذِي الْعَصَى الَّتِي مَعَكَ, this stick that is with you, does it turn to a snake? He says, yes, it turns into a snake. He says, then turn it to a snake so we believe you, so we can follow you. He says, بَلْ أَنْتَ قُلْ أَوَّلًا أَنَا رَبُّكُمُ الْأَعْلَى. First you have to say, like Fir'aun says, أَنَا رَبُّكُمُ الْأَعْلَى, that I am your Lord. If you say that, you Mahdi, then I shall turn this stick into a snake. Another one comes to him and says, that I am a prophet. He says, you are a prophet, and where are your followers? He says, Wallahi, you didn't give me a chance. I claim to be a prophet in the morning, by evening you had already arrested me. By evening, you had already arrested me. Another woman came to Al-Khalifa al-Ma'mun. She came to Al-Khalifa al-Ma'mun. So she says, Ana Fatimatun Nabiyya. I am Fatima the prophet, the prophetess. So Al-Ma'mun, one of the most intelligent Khalifas, as was mentioned previously, tells her, Hal anti tu'minu bi Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, bi Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? He says, no, he is a prophet and I believe all his words. So Al-Ma'mun says to her, the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, he says, La nabiyya ba'di, there is no prophet after me. This woman says, Sadaqa Rasulullah, the Prophet has spoken the truth. He said, La nabiyya ba'di, there is no prophet after me, but he did not say, La nabiyyata ba'di, there is no prophetess after me. I am a prophetess, you have to follow me. And Khalifa al-Ma'mun, he puts his head down, he says, I have been defeated by this woman. And he starts laughing until this woman covers her face. Another man comes and says, I am a prophet. He says, you're a prophet. Give us evidence that you're a prophet. He says, سَأُنَبِّئُكُمْ بِمَا فِي صُدُورِكُمْ, I shall tell you what you're hiding in your hearts, what you are pretending, what you are thinking right now. He says, tell us what you are thinking right now. We are thinking right now. He says, you are thinking that I'm a liar. He says, very true. You're thinking exactly that. And he was put in a mental hospital. Another man, he comes, he says, yes, I am a prophet. The people tell him, the Khalifa tells him, the Prophet says, La nabiyya ba'di, there is no prophet after me. How then do you claim to be a prophet? He says, yes, the Prophet said, La nabiyya ba'di, and my name is La. My name is La nabiyya ba'di. La is a prophet after me. Very foolish, crazy people. And from most stupid and foolish people who have come to claim a prophethood is a man who has many followers, a man who's called Mirza Ahmed Ghulam al-Qadiani, la'natullah alayh, the founder of the sect known as the Ahmadiyya. We have them also in our country and many countries. There's a channel also in DSTV that is a Qadiani. It's called, I think it's called Islam something, Islam channel. It's called Al-Islam channel. I've not watched DSTV maybe for 15 years, but I remember there's that channel for the Ahmadiyya. This man, he was born about the year 1840 in a village called Qadian in India. This man was known as being a stupid man. His attribute was stupidity. Number two, he used to be very bad language. He used to insult people. Number three, he used to fall sick often. Every time he's sick. Number four, he's one of the most ignorant human beings that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created. This man, his family, they are always together with the British government, the colonialists, the British. As you know in history, Ikhwani fillah, there's the period of colonialism that happened in the world. Us in Kenya were conquered by by who? By the British. We had the Mau Mau and we got our independence from the British. But the worst form of colonialism that happened by the British was in the Indian subcontinent. They massacred many people, and more so from the Muslims, because they were the educated people of society. They were the people calling to jihad. They were the people calling for independence. So the British were fed up with the Muslims, and they wanted to find a way that they can weaken the Muslims more. And they found this man, la'natullah alayh, Mirza Ahmed Ghulam al-Qadiani. So this Mirza Ahmed Ghulam al-Qadiani, number one, he started claiming that he was getting dreams, righteous dreams, Thereafter he started claiming to receive revelation. Thereafter he started claiming to be Al-Masih. He says, Jesus is not the Masih, Isa is not the Masih, I am the Masih. Isa has already passed away, I am the new Messiah. And he started claiming to be a prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And continued with his fitna. He continued with his great fitna. And he got many followers, supported and funded by the British crown, by the Queen, I think it was Queen Victoria at the time. So he continued his fitna, but the scholars of India stood firm against him. Amongst them is a famous scholar of India, it's called Thana'ullah Amritsari. Thana'ullah Amritsari, I don't know if I've pronounced his name correctly, but that is the pronunciation in Arabic, Thana'ullah. So he calls them to something called Al-Mubahala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he says, قُلْ تَعَالَوْا نَدْعُ أَبْنَاءَنَا وَأَبْنَاءَكُمْ وَنِسَاءَنَا وَنِسَاءَكُمْ وَأَنفُسَنَا وَأَنفُسَكُمْ ثُمَّ نَبْتَهِلْ فَنَجْعَلْ لَعْنَةَ اللَّهِ عَلَى الْكَاذِبِينَ. Call your children and our children, your wives and our wives, call yourselves and ourselves, ثُمَّ نَبْتَهِلْ فَنَجْعَلْ لَعْنَةَ اللَّهِ عَلَى الْكَاذِبِينَ. We make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to curse whoever is a liar. So Mirza Ahmed Ghulam came and Sheikh Thana'ullah came. 1907, April 5th, تقريبا, April 5th, 1907, just about 100 and how many years? 115 years from now. 114, 115 years from our current time. So they made dua against each other. Mirza Ahmed Ghulam says, with so much passion, he says, Oh Allah, whoever is amongst us is a liar. May Allah bring for him a disease that will harm him and destroy him and finish them off. Allah answered his dua. Although he's a shaitan, he's a liar. The same way Allah answered the dua of shaitan, he answered the dua of this man. Shaitan said, Andirni ila yawmi yub'athun. Keep me present until the day of Qiyamah. Answered the dua of this man, Mirza Ahmed Ghulam al-Qadiani. Came the year 1908, May 25th, 26th تقريبا. And this man was infected with cholera in India. He goes to his bed, stomach problems, he rushes to the toilet. Diarrhea, severe diarrhea. He comes to his bed, he's very weak. His wife massages him, he rushes to the toilet again, he comes back. The wife massages him, he feels like he wants to go to the toilet, but he's very weak. Mirza Ahmed Ghulam al-Qadiani. Look at the end of a liar, a person who claimed to be a prophet, a person who claimed to be sent by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If Allah sent you, let him save you from this situation. Najis. So this man, he became very weak in bed, and he defecated on his bed. He urinated on his bed. He can't control his body organs. And he became even weaker. And he fell on the side of the bed and hit his head. And he continued defecating in the room. Then he got some strength and he rushed to the washroom. And he defecated in the washroom once again. And he died in the washroom. La'natullah alayhi. He died in a place that was most applicable to him, in the washroom. The leader of the Qadiani, Ahmed Mirza Ghulam al-Qadiani. And the Sheikh who made dua against him, Sheikh Thana'ullah al-Amritsari, lived for another 41 years. He died in the year 1949, 1950, thereabout. And he died of normal circumstances. So, Ikhwani fillah, from the signs of the Day of Judgment is that there are people who will come to claim they are prophets, false prophets. The Prophet ﷺ says, لا تقوم الساعة حتى يبعث دجالون كذابون قريب من 30 كلهم يزعم أنه رسول الله. The hour will not be established until liars will appear, each one of them claiming to be a prophet, and there are 30 of them, and the Prophet ﷺ is the last of the prophet. Ikhwani fillah, we gave an assignment. Some of the brothers, mashallah, they have done the assignment. Barakallahu fihim. The ones who have not done the assignment have punishment. Taib. So the first one is Suhaib. Who is Suhaib? Who is Suhaib? Suhaib. Brother Suhaib, yes Suhaib. Who is Suhaib? You can put your hand and say Suhaib. MashaAllah. Barakallahu feekum. طيب, Ahmed Noor. Who's Ahmed Noor? Who is Ahmed Noor? Yeah, sorry. Abu Bakr. Barakallahu feek. Although I've not looked at your answers. Are the answers correct?
Inshallah, I've tried my best.
Inshallah, you've tried your best. Barakallahu feekum. Muhammad. Barakallahu feekum. Anas. Barakallahu feekum. Yeah, where's the young man who brought this phone right now? There's a young man. It was this young man. Now, Barakallahu fikum. Who is left? Who has also done the assignment? Who else has done the homework? This is we'll keep for the mosque. Let's keep this as a waqf for the mosque. For Muhammad Amin, UK. There's a brother from UK who was traveling today, and he answered all the questions while he was standing up. I think he should be the top student because he answered everything from the head, while most of you refer to the videos. You didn't refer to the video. Do you want us to revise the questions or it's okay? We can revise, so there's no time. We'll revise quickly. Type. Now? Use yours. Type. Question number 1. The first sign of the day of judgment is the coming of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. Why is this the sign of the day of judgment? The Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, he says in authentic hadith, bu'ithtu wasa'a kahatayn. He says, I was sent an hour like these two fingers. The same way there's no finger between these two fingers, there's no prophet between him and the day of judgment. Sign number 2, the splitting of the moon. Type. When did the splitting of the moon happen? In Medina or in Jerusalem? It happened in Mecca. Which surah was revealed regarding the splitting of the moon? Surah Al-Qamar is which chapter of the Quran in terms of number? Who can guess? Chapter 54. It's also good to memorize the numbers. It's not good, but it's just interesting if you can memorize the numbers. Type. Which mountain did the splitting of the moon occur? Which mountain in Mecca? Abu Bakr.
Which
mountain? Anas, which mountain? Mount Hira. Type. Sign number 3 was the death of Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. On what date did Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam pass away?
The 10th Hijri. The year, Hijri calendar of the 10th year.
No. Try again. The exact date. Is the day they celebrate Mawlid.
The 12th.
12th Rabiul Awwal, year 11 of the Hijri calendar. That is the day the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. Where was he buried?
Medina.
Exact spot. Where was he buried?
In his house.
Whose house?
Aisha's house.
The house of Al-Mu'minin Aisha radhiallahu anha. Why was he buried at that spot?
Because in one hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said all the prophets.
The hadith of who?
The prophet.
Who narrated that hadith?
Who narrated?
Yes. Who narrated that hadith?
Aisha.
No, the father of Aisha.
Abu Bakr.
Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. Type. Number 4 is the conquest of which city? The Muslims conquered which city? Sign number 4. Jerusalem. Baytul Maqdis. Type. Which year was this conquered? 16. Wallahi, I don't like this 637, 542. Ask whoever calendar as Muslims, true or false? So when someone tells me Prophet Muhammad died in 630 something, I don't even know that date. As Muslims, we have our own calendar. So try as much as you can to use our calendar. Type. So it was 16 Hijri. Why is Jerusalem or Bayt al-Maqdis important to the Muslims? Number 1. It was the first Qibla. It was the first Qibla. For benefit, there's a time the Muslims were praying Salat al-Asr. And the Qibla was changed from Jerusalem to Mecca. So the Muslims, they had to turn to face the new direction. Which mosque was this? The people have gone for Umrah or Hajj. The people think it's Masjid Qiblatayn, but it's not Masjid Qiblatayn. It's actually Masjid Quba. Quba is the first mosque that was built, and it's also the mosque where the Qibla was stand. So it's the first Qibla of the Muslims. Also, Surah chapter number 17 of the Quran regarding Jerusalem is which surah? Chapter 17. Surah Al-Isra. Isra or Mi'raj happened. What is Isra? What is Mi'raj? I've already given you the answer.
Isra is leaving from
Makkah to Bayt al-Maqdis, and Mi'raj to the heavens. Type. Who was the Khalifa of the Muslims at the time? What was the agreement that he signed that is known as the Pact of Umar?
The agreement he signed was if the non-Muslims disagree to become Muslim, they will pay jizya.
Uh-huh.
They can live peacefully.
The people of Jerusalem, their blood is protected, their wealth is protected, their churches are protected, their religious festivals are protected. If they want to live, they can live in peace. And they added a condition, the Christians of Jerusalem, they did not want the Jews to stay with them, because they had that belief that the Jews were responsible for the killing of their Messiah. And we as Muslims believe the Messiah was not killed, but he'll come back on the day of judgment, before the day of judgment. Sign number 5 was the plague of Amwas. This plague, many of the Sahaba died. How many taqriban died from the Sahaba and Tabi'in?
25,000.
About 25,000. Which of the Sahaba, famous Sahaba, died in this plague? Mu'adh ibn Jabal, who is the most knowledgeable of halal and haram in this ummah. Number 2, Abu Ubaidah Amr ibn Jarrah, who is amongst the 10 who was promised Jannah. Shurahbil ibn Hasana, who was one of the generals of the Muslims in conquering Ash-Sham. Yazid ibn Abi Sufyan, also one of the generals who conquered the land of Ash-Sham. Also Al-Fadl ibn Abbas, the cousin of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, and many of the other Muslims lost their lives. Type. The sign number 6, there will be so much wealth that the Muslims will not be accepting sadaqah. This will happen twice, at the time of Mahdi that you're going to mention, and also happened before under one of the Khalifas. Who was this Khalifa? Umar ibn Abdul Aziz radiallahu anhu. This Khalifa Umar, the second Umar ibn Abdul Aziz ibn Marwan ibn al-Hakam, he was the ruler from which year to which year? It was part of the answers, you didn't answer it. From which year was he the leader until he was poisoned and he died, rahimahullah? He was killed. Umar ibn Abdul Aziz. From the year 99 of the Hijri calendar to the year 101. He ruled for about 30 months and was killed by his slave who was paid by his kinsman from the Bani Umayyah, as is mentioned by the scholars. Type. The Khalifas, as you know, the tartib, the first was Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, Ali. Then the fitna happened. Then Al-Hasan ibn Ali was a Khalifa for a short while. The Prophet ﷺ says, إِنَّ هَذَا إِبْنِ سَيِّدٍ سَيُصْلِحُ اللَّهُ بَيْنَ فِئَتَيْنِ عَظَمَتَيْنِ مِنَ الْمُسْلِمِينَ. That this grandson of mine, this son of mine, is a master, is a Sayyid. He shall make peace between two groups of the Muslims. So Al-Hasan ibn Ali, he refused to be the Khalifa and gave it up to Muawiyah. So Khalifa number 5 was Muawiyah. Then Yazid, the son of Muawiyah, is the first person who was a child to be made. His father is the one who made him the Khalifa, which was very wrong of him. Yazid ibn Muawiyah, we mentioned the Battle of Harra. Then after Yazid came Abdullah ibn Zubayr ibn Awam. He was the Khalifa of the Muslims. But Marwan ibn al-Hakam rebelled. So he claimed to be a Khalifa, Marwan ibn al-Hakam. Then his son Abdul Malik ibn Marwan ibn al-Hakam defeated Abdullah ibn Zubayr through the hands of Hajjaj ibn Yusuf al-Thaqafi. After Abdul Malik ibn Marwan ibn al-Hakam came Al-Walid ibn Abdul Malik, then Sulaiman ibn Abdul Malik, then came Umar ibn Abdul Aziz. Type. Sign number 7, there'll be fitna in this ummah, trials and tribulations in this ummah. In which direction is this fitna coming from? Towards the east. We mentioned many of the sects that appeared from the east. Number 1, the Khawarij. Yes. Number 2, from the, you know them, Karbala, Najaf, the Shia. They come from that side. Also you have lost people like the Qadiani. This Qadiani we mentioned come from which side? India is towards the west or the east? Towards the east. You have the Baha'i faith from Iran towards the east. You have the communism and the socialism. You have the Mongolians, Genghis Khan, Hulagu Khan. You have the Buddhists, the Hindus. You have the fitna of the Muslims in Myanmar, in Thailand, in Philippines, in India. We mentioned this also. Type. Which killing of which particular man was the very first great fitna of this ummah? Uthman ibn Affan radiallahu anhu. Where was he killed?
He was killed in Medina.
In his house in Medina. Which year was this? The 17th of Dhul Hijjah, the year 35 of the Hijri calendar. Type. What do we know about Uthman ibn Affan radiallahu anhu? He was a Khalifa. What else do you know about him? He was married to 2 daughters of Prophet ﷺ. Who are those 2 daughters? Ruqayya and Kulthum. He also performed 2 hijras. The first hijrah to which country? To Habasha, and the second one to to Medina. He was also, the angels were what regard to him?
They were shy of him.
They were very shy to him. This man, he bought Jannah with his wealth a number of times. Number one,
When he bought 1,000 camels,
when the Muslims are preparing to go to the Battle of Tabuk, and he sponsored the battle with many of his camels and many gold coins. Number two, the Muslims required some water, and he bought the Bi'r Ruma, the well of Ruma. He also, the Muslims wanted to expand the mosque of Prophet alayhi salatu salam.
he bought that land.
He bought the land that was adjacent to expand the mosque of Prophet alayhi salatu salam. And as we mentioned previously, this is the only man in history, it should even be mentioned in the books, there is the only man with a bank
With a bank account.
to today. You can go to some buildings in Mecca and Medina and you see this is the property of Uthman ibn Affan. He still has a bank account to this day, sadaqatun jariyah for him. طيب. After he was killed, a great fitna ensued amongst the Sahaba. And a battle was fought. What is the name of the battle that was fought?
The Battle of Camel.
The Battle of Camels. Who from the Sahaba were present in this battle? From the wives of Prophet ﷺ? Aisha radiallahu anha. And from the 10 who were promised Jannah, who were present in this battle?
Zubair and Talha.
But I forgot, there's another third person who was also present in the battle. Yes, there's Talha ibn Ubaidillah, and there's Zubair ibn Awam. And the one who fought them, Ali, was also from amongst the 10 promised Jannah. The ones who lost their lives in this battle is Talha ibn Ubaidillah and Zubair ibn Awam. And from the interesting thing about Talha, he had 4 wives. Each of these 4 wives was sisters to the wives of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. One was a sister to Salama, another Hind. One was a sister to, I forget, but each one of them was a wife to Zainab. He was a wife to the wives of Prophet ﷺ. Each of his wives was a sister to the Prophet's wives. Type. So that happened. After this, there's a great khilaf that occurred amongst the people of Iraq and the people of Syria. Who was the leader of the people of Syria? Who was the leader of the people of Iraq? Muawiyah was the leader of Iraq. Yes, true or false? Of Syria. And Ali ibn Abi Talib was the leader of Iraq. Type, a great battle occurred, unfortunate battle occurred amongst the Sahaba. What was the name of this battle? Siffin. Where is Siffin located? Near the border of Iraq and Syria, a place called near Deir Zor, near Raqqa. Type. How many Muslims lost their lives in this battle? 70,000. A group secluded themselves from the Muslims and they rebelled against the Muslims and they declared the Muslims to be disbelievers. What is the name of this group? They stayed in a place called Harura. Who of the Sahaba went to debate with them and brought 4,000 of them back to the fold of the Islam? Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma. The remaining 2,000, they killed one of the Sahaba of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What is the name of that Sahaba? Abdullah ibn Man. Abdullah ibn Khubayb. Taib. Who fought them from amongst the two groups, Muawiyah or the group of Ali? Group of Ali is the one that fought them, as mentioned by Prophet alayhi salatu salam, that the group that is upon the correct will fight the Khawarij. Naam? Naam. Also they killed Ammar ibn Yasir. That was in Siffin. That was in Siffin to show that Ali was upon the correct way. Taib. Another fitna that occurred amongst the Muslims was the Battle of Harra. What happened in the Battle of Harra? Who was the Khalifa? In Medina, when the people of Medina were massacred. The Khalifa was Yazid ibn Muawiyah. He sent a person called Musrif ibn Uqba al-Murri, or Muslim ibn Uqba al-Murri, and he killed many of the people of Medina in the year 63 of the Hijri calendar. Taib. The other fitna that we mentioned is the fitna of claiming the Quran is a creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Who brought this fitna? All of you answered wrong this question anyway. Who brought this fitna? This fitna started from the Mu'tazila sect, the sect of philosophers as mentioned, and Jahm ibn Abi Safwan, the Jahmiyyah, and it was spread by this man called Ahmed ibn Abi Duwad. And the Khalifa of the Muslims at the time who started spreading it with vigor and strength is Khalifa Al-Ma'mun ibn Harun al-Rashid.
It was Harun al-Rashid.
No, not Harun al-Rashid, his son, Al-Ma'mun. Al-Ma'mun. Taib, who was he afraid from the scholars? He did not spread this fitna. He was afraid of one scholar in particular.
Ahmed ibn Hanbal.
Not Ahmed ibn Hanbal, before him. People are writing answers, they don't even know what they wrote. Your answer is here. Abdurrahman, Yazid ibn Harun. 4 scholars lost their lives. What are the names of the scholars? Ahmed ibn Nasir al-Khuza'i, Al-Buwaiti, the student of Imam who? Al-Buwaiti, the greatest student of Imam Shafi'i. Then you have Muhammad bin Nuh, and you have also Hamad, Sahib Fitna, Sahib Kitab Taib. Which scholar stood firm against them until he was not the Imam of Ahl-Sunnah?
Ahmed bin Hanbal.
Which year did Ahmed bin Hanbal pass away?
240.
240, another answer?
242.
242, another answer. Between that?
241.
241 of the Hijri calendar. Imam Ahmed was born in the year 164?
Yes, and he died 241.
241. Imam Shafi'i was born 150. Abu Hanifa passed away in 150. Imam Shafi'i was born in 150 and he died at the year 204. So what was the age of Imam Ahmad in the year 204? Question. What was the age of Imam Ahmad when Imam Shafi'i died? Imam Ahmad was born in 164. Imam Shafi'i died 204. How old was Ahmad ibn Hanbal?
40.
He was 40. And 40 is the age of what exactly? When Allah sends prophets. So Imam Ahmad did not want to teach when his Shaykh was present. But Allah decreed that Imam Shafi'i passes when he was 40. So Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal took over the leadership of the Ummah at the time. Taib, which scholar debated against them and ended the fitna of claiming the Quran is a creation for all of eternity? Abu Abdurrahman, Abdullah ibn Muhammad ibn Abdurrahman al-Adrami rahimahullah. And with this, we have finished our revision for the first 7 signs of the Day of Judgment. Sign number 8, we mentioned 4 false prophets that appeared at the time of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Number 1, Musaylim al-Kadhab. Number 2, Aswad al-Anasi. Number 3, Tulayha ibn Khuwaylid al-Asadi. Number 4, Sajah, the wife of Musaylama. Taib. After Prophet alayhi salam, we mentioned some other people. Mukhtar ibn Abu Ubaid, from which tribe? Al-Thaqafi. Also we mentioned the stupid man from India. What is his name? Which year did Mirza Ahmed Ghulam die? 1908. May 25th, May 26th. Taqriban. About 113 years ago. And with that ends our lecture regarding the signs of the Day of Judgment. We'll continue with sign number 9 in the forthcoming lecture. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.